We are in the mid-90s in Baltimore near one of those run-down places. Standing tall man weighing 450 pounds named Joe Metheny. Inside a meat stall, people were lining up in front of him to eat the delicious burgers he offered. But what they did not know was that they were eating human meat. But before going into details, we invite you, our dear viewers, to press the like button and the subscribe button and activate the bell feature to be the first to receive everything new, strange, and realistic. Let's continue. Maithny said about his childhood is that he was not happy at all. He said his father was an alcoholic. He often abandoned his family, and his mother was not present either, because she worked 2 shifts to try to compensate for the absence of the father financially. When he was finally arrested for his crimes, he said he had not seen any of his 6 brothers or sisters for many years, and that his parents had died, but that was not true. His mother was found, who explained that her children's family life wasn't that bad. She denied that he ever went to care homes, while he said he moved in many of them. But what is certain is that he possessed a hidden anger that prompted him to commit a series of very heinous crimes, which he enjoyed. Metheny was a smart child and excelled academically, but instead of pursuing academic success, he joined the army. After serving in Germany, he said he was sent to Vietnam, where he got acquainted with heroin and tasted opium. However, there is doubt as to whether he was sent to serve in Vietnam in the first place. And then he drifted more and more into the path of drugs and turned from a smart and superior child into an opium and heroin addict who drove a truck to earn a living. In July of the year 1994, Metheny returned home to find that his wife and son had disappeared. The wife had taken everything of value in the house and gone. Metheny didn't care that she was gone, but what drove him crazy was that she took his little boy with her. 6 months later, his wife and their friend were arrested for drug use. The child was transferred to foster homes. That is why Metheny felt angry towards his wife and roamed the streets to search for her and take revenge on her and her boyfriend. He learned that they were sitting under a bridge and taking drugs with some homeless people. When he went there, he did not find his wife, but he found 2 homeless men. It was Rondell Boer and Randy Baker, both of whom died after Metheny hit them that same night. He said he lured a woman to the same place and promised to give her some drugs. He said he would give her this in exchange for information about his missing wife. Until that lady did not provide any information about that, Metheny killed her. Soon after, he lured another female drug addict onto the bridge and killed her as well. The corpse was piling up that night, and then someone else became a victim of Metheny's wrath as he tried to dispose of the 2 women's corpses. He noticed that a man who was hunting had spotted him. He left the corpses, picked up a steel pipe, and charged towards the man. It killed 5 people in just 7 hours. Some washed up in the river and cleaned up the crime scene as best you could. Then he left. He was arrested 2.5 weeks later and charged with the murder of the 2 men who dismembered them. So how did he get off this charge to actually turn his victims into burgers after spending like 18 months in a Baltimore prison? The case was dropped out of court due to lack of evidence. When he returned, a free man, to his old job as a forklift driver in a private company, his boss was kind to him and allowed him to stay at the factory, which was on a very isolated road and was ideal for Metheny to do whatever he wanted. If the first wave of killing was omitted due to blind rage, this time Metheny's motive for killing was to enjoy it. He loved it. In the year 1995, a woman named Kimberly Spicer entered the world of Metheny because she was addicted to cocaine when the killer was sorting the faces of the women present to choose his victim. No one ever thought Metheny was an experienced killer. He was so polite to others. Kimberly ended up that night in Metheny's trailer, and that night was the last of her life. Her body was later discovered buried not far from the trailer. It was buried next to another body, Coffee, a woman who Metheny killed, buried, and beheaded not long before Kimberly was killed. Then Metheny came up with the idea of starting a meat stand on the weekends and serving burgers to passers-by and truck drivers from time to time. He said human meat tasted a lot like pork, and when he mixed it together, no one would know the difference. And people were lining up in front of him to try this strange-tasting meat and selling people's burgers, going well when the goods ran out. Take to the streets again in search of prey. He found what he was looking for when he met a young woman named Rita Kemper, who was happy to get back with Metheny to his trailer and share the drugs with him. But when the man approached her with the intention of killing her, she ran for her life. The trailer was far away and dark, and although Kemper managed to get away from a good distance, Metheny caught up to her and kicked her back into the trailer. He later admitted that she ran away again after a short time because he was busy with something else, and this time the woman managed to find a way out of the factory grounds. She was able to climb the 8-foot fence and cross the barbed wire. She runs to the main road where a man in his car picks her up and takes her to a nearby gas station to call the police. Maithny knew it was over, so moved quietly to the main gates. And then a policeman in the car surprised him, pointed his weapon at him, and asked him to surrender. And that was where it all ended. Once Metheny was tied up and put in the back of the car, the killer told the policeman that there was no need to fear him, as he did not want to kill him. It was almost over. Kemper told the police that Metheny had told her he would kill her and bury her next to his trailer, as he had done with the others, and the police quickly began searching to find the bodies, including the decapitated corpse of Kavi. Metheny said he killed more women and confessed to his crimes. In all, he confessed to killing 10 other women and turning them into human burgers. Maithny was sentenced to death in the year 1998, at the age of 43 years. This ruling was later cancelled due to an error in the paper procedures. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. During his imprisonment, he was found dead in his cell, 20 years after his imprisonment. In the end, dear viewers of Black Oddities, we wish you an enjoyable viewing and invite you to subscribe to the channel and like the video to encourage us to provide everything new, interesting, and realistic. See you in the next video.